Pete Maravich. Pete Maravich, also known as Pistol Pete, was a spectacular showman who helped open up the game of basketball in the 1970s. He helped transform the game with his ball handling and passing wizardry. Being a spectacular shooting star, Maravich rocketed through college and professional ranks, driven by an insatiable desire to be the greatest that resulted in an eventful but short life. Even when he wasn't able to play to any championship game during his days, his contemporaries say that he would have dominated today's court with his transcendent skill. In this video, we see how good exactly Pistol Pete was. Maravich wasn't the first player to dribble behind his back or make a deft between the legs pass, but his playground moves, circus shots, and hot dog passes were considered outrageous during his era. He was the son of Pete Maravich, who had been a guard with the Youngstown Bears of the National Basketball League in 1945-46 and with the Pittsburgh Ironmen of the Basketball Association of America in 1946-47. Skills. Some of Maravich's urge to excel was instilled in him by his father. He was compelled by his father to endlessly hone his basketball skills, and as a teenager, his practice methods are the stuff of legend, including dribbling while on marathon runs, while riding a bike, and out of the window of a car while a passenger. In the process, he perfected an array of moves that made the ball seem like an attachment to his body. There appeared to be no scoring, passing, ball handling, faking, or mind-boggling maneuver Pistol Pete could not or would not attempt. As a youth, Pete Maravich was the quintessential gym rat. After a successful high school career in North Carolina, he enrolled at Louisiana State University. NCAA rules at the time prohibited first-year students from playing at the varsity level, so Maravich played for LSU's freshman team in 1966-67 and scored a monstrous 43.6 points per game. On the court, Maravich was the consummate showman, skinny with a mop of brown hair and always wearing his trademark floppy socks. The Atlanta Hawks selected the slender Maravich with the third overall pick in the 1970 NBA draft. He wasn't warmly received by the team's veterans, who resented his $1.9 million contract, a huge amount at the time. By then, Pistol Pete had grown into a finely tuned 6 foot 5 inch, or 1.96 meter, guard and replaced Joe Caldwell after jumping to the American Basketball Association. The Hawks already had one of the NBA's best shooters in Lou Hudson, two of its brawniest rebounders in Walt Bellamy and Bill Bridges, and one of the game's shrewdest playmakers in Walt Hazzard. In any event, Pistol Pete made an immediate impact in his first season. He scored 23.2 points per game, good for 9th in the league, and was named to the NBA All-Rookie team. As Maravich adjusted to the pro game, his numbers improved. He remained healthy in 1972-73 and helped the Hawks to a 46-36 record, the only winning season he would experience in his NBA prime. Maravich earned his first All-Star appearance and landed a spot on the All-NBA second team by averaging 26.1 points per game. Atlanta again finished in the Central Division, then made its usual early exit from the playoffs. Maravich averaged 26.2 points per game during the postseason as the Hawks bowed to Boston in the conference semifinals for a second straight year. The Pistols' final year with Atlanta was his highest scoring NBA season yet, and the team's worst during his tenure. He poured in 27.7 points per game in 1973-74, second in the league. The Hawks, however, faded to 35-47 and missed the playoffs. Maravich played in his second NBA All-Star game during the season and scored 15 points in 22 minutes. Injuries took their toll as he moved on to the New Orleans Jazz, with whom he won his only NBA scoring title with a 31.1 average. In 1975-76, Maravich was occasionally sidelined with minor injuries. He played only 62 games, but shot a career-high .459 from the floor and raised his average to 25.9 points per game, third highest in the league. The young New Orleans team began to show signs of life as well. The Jazz finished 38-44 and vaulted out of the Central Division cellar, leaving last place to Maravich's former team, the Atlanta Hawks. Pistol Pete was rewarded during the postseason with his first selection to the All-NBA first team. The following season was Maravich's finest as a professional. He saw action in 73 games and led the NBA in scoring with a career-high best 31.1 points per game. He scored 40 or more points 13 times, the most in the NBA that season, and he led the league in total points, 2,273, field goals attempted, 2,047, and free throws made, 501. On February 25, 1977, he scored 68 points in a game against the New York Knicks despite the efforts of defensive ace Walt Frazier to bottle him up. Maravich's performance that day ranks as the 11th best single-game total in NBA history. He returned to the NBA All-Star Game in 1977 and earned his second straight berth on the All-NBA First Team. The franchise relocated to Utah in 1979, where Maravich's role diminished. Released by the Jazz, he finished his career with the Boston Celtics. On the surface, Maravich was an odd choice for the team-oriented Celtics, but he worked himself back into shape and applied his considerable skills to the unfamiliar challenge of serving as a part-time contributor. He averaged 11.5 points in 26 outings for Boston and was still capable of impressive scoring bursts. In one game, he scored the final 10 points in a come-from-behind win over the Washington Bullets. During the postseason, he managed a modest 6 points per game as the Celtics reached the Eastern Conference Finals. Maravich was a notorious long-range bomber during his career, but all of his many points had come on two-pointers, even when launched from a great distance since the three-point line wasn't invented at that time. In 1979-80, the NBA finally adopted the three-point shot. In his final season, with his skills rusty, his knees creaky, and his minutes limited, Pistol Pete Maravich finally got a chance to shoot three-pointers. He went 10 for 15. After the season, Maravich finally faced the reality of his bad knee and retired. He ended his 10-year career with an average of more than 24 points per game. He was elected to the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 1987 and was named to the NBA 50th Anniversary All-Time Team in 1996. Make sure to keep posted with our videos to keep yourselves updated with your favorite stars' whereabouts. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more.